You guys, I'm telling you, don't take COM 121. It's literally the hardest class out of all the communication class. The grading system is so hard, the teacher barely gives us any study guide material for the test. And the final, forget it. It was like impossible. Were you guys discouraged? If you were, that was due to emotional contagion. Hi, I'm Gianni Roberts, and today I'll be talking about the emotional contagion theory and how it affects all of us. So I'll be going over three things. First of all, a definition of emotional contagion. Second of all, a story of how I was affected by emotional contagion. And lastly, how I've put what I've learned into action. So one of my research studies was entitled, I should give you guys a definition first. Emotions are something that can be caught, they're contagious. So emotional contagion comes from us being observing and then being influenced by the emotional expressions of other people. So one of the research studies that I read was entitled Emotional Transmission in Couples Under Stress. And it brought out an interesting point that emotional contagion is usually common in close relationships, so that can be romantic relationships or platonic relationships. The other research study that I read is entitled Heightened Emotional Contagion in Mild Cognitive Impairment and Alzheimer's Disease is Associated with Temporal Lobe Degeneration. So this one brought out the fact that emotional contagion has been found in animals, such as birds and rats, and also found in human infants. And the way human infants display emotional contagion is by mimicking facial expressions, and also by sometimes if they hear the cries of another baby, they will begin to be fussy or cry themselves. So before I knew about emotional contagion, I was very easily influenced by the emotions of others. A perfect example of this is last year at the rodeo. I love the rodeo. It's one of my favorite events of the year. So I had invited a group of friends, I had my cowgirl outfit, and we were there. But as soon as I got there, I felt this strong tension and it was very uncomfortable. I came to find out that some of my friends were fighting. They were very upset and angry with one another, and it was very distracting to me. So it caused me to be really unhappy and also super confused and upset that they weren't having as much fun as I expected them to have. So even though their situation didn't affect me, their emotions and how I observed their emotions really did affect me and resulted in me not having fun at my favorite event of the year, the rodeo. So now that I know about emotional contagion, I try to be supportive when my friends go through rough times and be positive. A perfect example of that is when one of my friends was throwing a bridal weekend for her sister, and she had invited everyone and everyone was committed. Well, then last minute, three girls backed out. She was very upset and didn't know what to do. When she told me about it, I also was upset and I understood her frustration, but I didn't want to give off those emotions because I knew it would make her feel worse. So I tried to be positive and extra supportive for her, and we were able to do a great girls' weekend for her sister. So I thought an interesting thing that our textbook brings out is that emotions are not caused by an event itself, but instead they are the reactions based on expectations. So in both of these situations, our reactions were of anger or disappointment because we had expected a certain thing in our brain before. So I'd like to reiterate that we need to remember our emotions are contagious. So remember to understand your emotions, identify the situations that will trigger certain emotions, and channel them in a way that will be effective to everyone around you. Thank you.